The big glass doors of Silvertech opened as a young black woman stepped inside. Her name was Amara. She looked around quietly. She wore plain clothes, no makeup, and her curly hair was tied back simply. She carried a small notebook and a pen. She looked like a new intern. The office was busy. People walked fast, typing on laptops, making phone calls. No one paid much attention to her, except one man. Ryan, a tall man in a fancy shirt, saw her from across the room. He smirked. He was a senior engineer at Silvertech and believed he was the smartest person there. He walked over to her. "You lost, miss?" Ryan asked with a fake smile. "I'm here for my first day," Amara said politely. "Oh, the new intern?" he said, laughing. "Good luck, you'll need it." Others nearby chuckled, but Amara just smiled. "Yes, I'm excited to learn," she replied. Ryan looked her up and down. "Well, stay out of my way. This is a serious place, not for beginners who think they're smart." Amara said nothing. She just nodded and went to the desk someone pointed her to. As the day went on, Ryan kept making rude comments. "Hey, intern, do you even know how to use a computer? Don't worry, you're here because of company rules, not talent. People like you are lucky to be here at all." Some co-workers looked uncomfortable, but no one said anything. Amara didn't react. She kept writing in her notebook. Every now and then, she'd ask smart questions, but Ryan always found a way to laugh at her. "Wow, that's your question? So basic," he said in front of others. "Don't waste my time." Still, Amara stayed calm. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were focused. She watched everything. She listened carefully. She asked questions that made even the manager raise an eyebrow. Later that afternoon, Ryan held a team meeting. "Let's see if the intern can keep up," he joked. He drew complex diagrams on the board, using big words. "This is real engineering, not high school science," he said, glancing at Amara. Amara watched quietly. When the meeting ended, Ryan walked past her. "Hope you enjoyed the free show, intern," he whispered. Amara looked at him and smiled. "Thank you. I learned a lot." Ryan rolled his eyes and walked away. That evening, when most people had gone home, Amara was still sitting at her desk. The office lights were dim. Her laptop screen glowed in the quiet room. She clicked open a secret folder. On the screen, a document appeared with the company's founder information. It read, "Founder and CEO, Amara Johnson." She looked at it for a second, then closed the laptop slowly. At that moment, the office manager walked by. He saw her and paused. "Everything all right, ma'am?" he asked quietly. Amara nodded. "Yes, I just wanted to see how things work before I show them who I am." The manager smiled. "You're brave. They have no idea." She stood up and picked up her notebook. "They will," she said. As she walked out, the camera focused on the notebook in her hand. On the first page were written the words, "Observe, listen, reveal later." The next morning, Amara arrived early at the Silvertech office. She wore the same simple clothes and carried the same notebook. She still looked like a quiet intern, but her eyes showed something deeper. Ryan was already at his desk, laughing loudly with a few other engineers. When he saw Amara, he smirked. "Good morning, intern," he said loudly so everyone could hear. "Did you survive your first day in the big office?" Amara smiled politely. "Yes, thank you." "Oh, good," he said, standing up. "Today, I have something special for you." He handed her a thick folder full of papers. "Scan these, sort them by color, then make copies. Oh, and bring me coffee. Black, no sugar." Some people in the office looked at each other. It wasn't her job to do these tasks, but no one said anything. Amara took the folder. "Of course," she said calmly. Ryan turned to the others and laughed. "She's going to last maybe 1 week," he whispered, loud enough for her to hear. For the next few hours, Ryan kept giving her useless tasks. "Print this, shred that, clean the whiteboard," he ordered. He even sent her on a fake errand to another building. When she returned, he said, "Oh, they told me you never came. Did you get lost, intern?" Amara stood still. They were waiting for you, she replied softly. I passed the message. He frowned, but didn't say anything. He didn't like that she didn't get angry. At lunchtime, Amara sat alone in the cafeteria. Some people watched her but didn't speak. A junior engineer named Lena walked by, holding her tray. She looked at Amara, then at Ryan across the room, and chose to walk away. She didn't want to be seen talking to the intern. From the corner of her eye, Amara saw everything. She quietly wrote something in her notebook. Later, Lena passed by Amara's desk and whispered, Sorry, I just don't want trouble with Ryan. Amara smiled. It's okay, I understand. But her calm voice made Lena feel worse. That afternoon, Ryan called everyone for a team check-in. He wrote on the board, Only smart people leave here. Then he looked at Amara. Sorry, intern, maybe next time. Amara simply nodded. Ryan continued, Let's test our skills. We'll each solve a system bug today. He gave everyone files, but Amara's file was empty. Oh no, Ryan said, pretending to be surprised. Guess we ran out of real bugs. Maybe you can fix the printer instead. The room went silent. A few people looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke. Amara looked at Ryan and said, I'll help where I can. Ryan laughed. Of course you will. As the day ended, Amara stayed back again. Alone in the quiet office, she opened her laptop and checked some logs, real bugs, deep in the system. She began to write code quickly and skillfully. She wasn't just good, she was brilliant. Footsteps approached. The office manager, Mr. Carter, walked in. Still here, he asked. Amara nodded, just fixing something. He watched her screen for a moment, then smiled. Ryan would be shocked if he saw your code. Amara chuckled. He will be, soon. Mr. Carter lowered his voice. HR called. They want to meet with you. The board has seen the footage of Ryan's behavior. Amara paused. Good, but not yet. I want to see who supports him and who speaks up. She clicked save and closed the laptop. The next morning, something strange happened. One of the bugs in the system, one Ryan had claimed to fix, returned and caused an error. The client was angry. Ryan panicked. He shouted at his team. Who messed this up? No one answered. He looked at Amara. Was it you? He snapped. Amara stood up slowly. I didn't touch your code, Ryan, but I did read it. He narrowed his eyes. What's that supposed to mean? Before she could reply, Mr. Carter walked in. Emergency meeting. Right now, he said. As the team gathered in the meeting room, Ryan looked nervous. Mr. Carter stood in front and said, There's been a mistake in the system, and someone fixed it last night. Everyone turned to Ryan. You said it was your fix, someone said. Ryan stuttered. Well, I thought it was. Mr. Carter turned to Amara. Can you explain what you did last night? Amara opened her notebook and read quietly. The bug was in line 137. I rewrote the loop and added an error handler. I tested it 4 times. People stared. Even Lena looked shocked. Mr. Carter smiled. And that saved us from losing a client. Ryan looked like he had seen a ghost. Amara turned to him and said kindly, Even interns can learn fast. The next day at Silvertech started like usual, but something had changed. People looked at Amara differently now. She wasn't just the intern anymore. After fixing the system bug, even the junior staff whispered about her talent. But Ryan, he was more annoyed than ever. How could she fix something I couldn't? He muttered to himself. She just got lucky. He tried to smile and act normal, but inside, he felt nervous. For the first time, someone had outshined him, and it was the quiet woman he had mocked. Later that morning, Amara received a message on her phone. It said, Boardroom. Tomorrow, 9:00 a.m. be ready. She smiled. Her time was coming. That evening, she stayed in the office alone again. She opened her laptop and went through her presentation. It wasn't just about code. It was about leadership, respect, and truth. She looked at her reflection in the dark screen and whispered, They're not ready. Meanwhile, Ryan received a surprising email. You have been selected to present your latest project to the CEO. His eyes widened. The CEO, he gasped. But we've never even seen them. It was true. The CEO of Silvertech was a mystery. No one knew their face. Some believed the CEO lived in another city, running the company from far away. Ryan smirked. This is my chance to impress the top boss. Maybe I'll even get a promotion. He began preparing his slides all night, using big words and colorful charts. This will blow them away, he said to himself. The next morning came quickly. At exactly 9 o'clock a.m., Ryan walked confidently into the boardroom. He wore a fresh suit, fixed his tie, and held his laptop tight. He looked around. The room was large and quiet. Only a few board members were there waiting. Then, the main door opened, and everyone stood. Ryan turned to see who it was. His smile dropped. His hands froze. Walking into the room was Amara. But this time, she wasn't wearing simple clothes. She wore a sharp black suit, her hair neatly styled. Her face was calm, her back straight, and her eyes strong. She walked to the head of the table and sat down. Everyone stayed standing until she said softly, "Please sit." Ryan stood in shock. What is she doing here? One of the board members leaned toward him. That's Amara Johnson, our CEO. Ryan couldn't speak. His lips moved, but no words came out. Amara opened her notebook and looked directly at Ryan. "You may begin your presentation," she said. Ryan stuttered. "Ah, yes, of course." He opened his laptop, hands shaking, and tried to start his speech. But his voice cracked. His slides looked weak now. His words sounded empty. Amara watched silently. She didn't smile. She didn't interrupt. She just listened. When he finished, the room was quiet. "Thank you, Ryan," Amara said. "That will be all for now." He sat down quickly, face red. After the meeting, as the board left the room, Amara stayed seated. Ryan stood awkwardly near the door, unsure what to do. She looked up and said, "Ryan, can we talk for a moment?" He nodded, nervous. She stood and walked toward him slowly. "Tell me something," she said calmly. "Would you have treated me the same way if I wore a suit on my first day?" He looked down. I didn't know who you were." Amara nodded. "Exactly. You didn't know who I was, and you judged me. Not for my work, not for my mind, but for my appearance." Ryan swallowed hard. "I'm sorry." She paused. "I gave you a chance to show who you are. You showed me arrogance, disrespect, and pride." Ryan stayed silent. Amara stepped back. "This meeting was never about your project, Ryan. It was about character. And now, I've seen enough." She picked up her notebook and walked past him. Just before she left the room, she turned and said softly, "Tomorrow, the company will know who I really am. Be ready." The news spread like fire across the Silvertech office. "Did you hear? The intern, she's the CEO. Her name is Amara Johnson. She owns the company." People whispered in shock. Some felt guilty. Some were afraid. And some, like Ryan, couldn't believe it. He sat at his desk, frozen. "I insulted her. I mocked her. And all this time, she was the boss," he whispered to himself. Lena, the junior engineer, walked past him. This time, she didn't avoid Amara's desk. She went straight there and said, "Good morning, ma'am." Amara smiled. "Just call me Amara." But everyone knew everything had changed now. At 11 o'clock a.m., all employees gathered in the large meeting hall. It was full of noise and questions. Then silence. Amara walked in, wearing the same black suit from the boardroom. Her steps were calm. Her face was serious. She stood on the stage and looked at the crowd. People watched with wide eyes. "Thank you for being here," she began. Her voice was clear and powerful. "I am Amara Johnson, founder and CEO of Silvertech." Gasps filled the room. "I started this company with a dream," she continued. "A dream to build something different, something better. A place where talent comes first, where people are respected, not judged." She looked directly at Ryan, who stood near the back. "But I wanted to know the truth. So I walked in as a nobody. No title, no power, just a notebook and a smile. The crowd listened in silence. I saw kindness, but I also saw cruelty. I saw talent, but I also saw fear. And worst of all, I saw pride without purpose. Amara paused, then opened her notebook. I watched, I listened. I wrote down everything. She looked at the staff. Some of you helped. Some of you stayed quiet. And some used power to bring others down. She closed the notebook. I will not lead this company by fear, but I will lead it with truth. Then she turned slightly and said, Ryan, please come forward. The room turned to him. He looked shocked, but walked slowly to the front. Amara faced him. Do you remember the first thing you said to me? Ryan nodded. I asked if you were lost. And then, I said this place is not for beginners. Amara smiled softly. That's right, but you were wrong. She stepped closer. You are smart, Ryan, but smartness without kindness is dangerous. Flashbacks played on the screen behind her. Clips from the office camera showed Ryan laughing at Amara, giving her fake tasks, and embarrassing her in front of others. Some staff looked down, ashamed. Then the next clip played, a video of Amara fixing the system bug at night. Everyone clapped. Amara raised her hand. The room fell silent again. I'm not showing this to hurt anyone, she said. I'm showing it because we must change. She turned to Ryan. You had power, and you misused it. So, what now? Ryan looked up, eyes full of regret. I don't know. Amara took a deep breath. You have two options, she said. Option 1. You step down from your position and leave Silvertech. A few people gasped. Option 2. You stay, but as a student. You will train under me for 6 months. No special seat, no title. You will learn respect. Ryan looked stunned. I'll do it, he said quickly. I'll stay. I want to change. Amara nodded. Then prove it. She stepped back. To everyone else, she said, turning to the crowd, I need your honesty. If you've been hurt, speak up. If you've made mistakes, own them. This company will only grow if we grow together. The crowd clapped loudly. Some people smiled. Others had tears in their eyes. As the meeting ended, Lena walked up to Amara. I'm sorry, she said. I saw how Ryan treated you, and I didn't help. Amara looked at her kindly. You're helping now. Then she walked past Ryan and said one last thing. Growth doesn't begin with power. It begins with truth. After the big reveal, the Silvertech office felt different. People smiled more. They looked Amara in the eye. They used her real name now, not intern. But not everyone felt better. Ryan sat at a small desk near the corner of the room. His new workspace was simple. No private office, no big screen, no assistant. He was no longer a senior engineer. He was now a trainee, learning from the very woman he once mocked. On his first day under Amara's leadership, Ryan walked into the training room with his notebook. Amara was already there, writing on the whiteboard. Good morning, she said without looking up. Good morning, ma'am, he replied quietly. She turned to him. No need for ma'am. Just Amara is fine. Ryan nodded. Today, she said, we're learning about leadership. Not code, not machines. People. Ryan blinked. I thought we were engineers. We are, she said. But if you can't lead people, you can't build anything that lasts. As the lesson began, Ryan took notes. Amara talked about empathy, listening, and respect. Then she said something that made the room go silent. Power is a mirror. It shows who you really are. Ryan looked down. She paused. Tell me, Ryan, who were you when you had power? He hesitated. I thought I was a leader. And now? I think I was afraid, he said softly. Amara nodded. That's a start. Later that day, Ryan sat in the cafeteria alone. No one wanted to sit with him now. He remembered the time he laughed at Amara for sitting alone. Now, the pain of loneliness felt real. He looked around. People whispered. He could feel their judgment. He picked up his tray and left quietly. Back at his desk, he opened his notebook and wrote, The truth hurts, but maybe I needed it. Meanwhile, Amara met with Mr. Carter, the office manager. I'm worried about Ryan, he said. He looks lost. He is, Amara replied. But if he truly wants to change, he'll walk through the pain. Mr. Carter nodded. Some people never do. Amara looked out the window. I believe he can. But belief is not enough. Action matters now. That evening, Amara stayed late again. She reviewed files, watched training videos, and checked reports from the HR team. She saw notes from employees, stories of how they had been treated by Ryan. Some had been ignored, some insulted. One even left the company. Amara closed the file. Her heart felt heavy. Fixing code is easier than fixing people, she whispered. But she wouldn't give up. The next day, Amara gave Ryan a new task. I want you to interview every person on your old team, she said. Ask them how your actions affected them. Listen, write everything down. No excuses. Ryan looked shocked. All of them? Yes, every single one. He swallowed hard. Okay. The interviews began. Ryan sat down with each teammate. Some were polite. Others were cold. One said, "You made me feel small." Another said, "I stopped sharing ideas because of you." One even said, "I cried in the bathroom once after you shouted at me." Ryan wrote everything down. With each story, his heart got heavier. He didn't speak. He didn't defend himself. For the first time, he was just listening. That night, Ryan stayed in the office after everyone had left. He opened his notebook and read the notes again. Tears filled his eyes. I thought I was helping this company, he whispered. But I was breaking people. He closed the notebook and walked to Amara's office. The light was still on. He knocked. Amara looked up. Yes. He stepped in slowly. I finished the interviews, he said. May I share something with you? She nodded. He opened his notebook and read aloud. He didn't skip anything. Not the tears, not the anger, not the pain. When he finished, Amara looked at him. You did well, she said. Now, what will you do with this truth? Ryan took a deep breath. I want to say sorry, not just to you, to everyone, and I want to help fix what I broke. Amara stood. Then do it. Actions, not words. Ryan nodded. And for the first time in a long time, he felt ready to change. The next morning, the Silvertech office was quiet. Everyone had received an email. Subject: a personal message from Ryan. People gathered around their screens, curious. Some expected excuses. Some expected lies. But when they opened the email, they saw something different. To everyone I've worked with, I'm sorry. I didn't lead. I hurt. I ignored your voices. I judged without listening. I thought I was important because of my title. But now I understand. Respect is earned, not given. I hope one day I can earn yours again. Ryan. The office was silent. No one said anything. Until Lena, the junior engineer, whispered, maybe he's changing. But some weren't ready to forgive. He made our lives hard, said Marcus, another staff member. One email doesn't erase that. Amara saw the mixed reactions. She expected them. Change doesn't happen in a day. Later, Ryan walked into the office with no pride in his step. He smiled at a few people. Some nodded. Others looked away. At lunch, he didn't sit alone this time. Lena waved him over. Slowly, Marcus joined too. No one laughed, but no one pushed him away. Step by step, the wall was cracking. In her office, Amara stared at an old photo on her desk. It was from her early days, when she was building Silvertech from her garage. Her face in the photo looked tired but determined. She smiled softly. Back then, no one believed in me. Her phone buzzed. Message: legal team has completed internal review. 3 employees removed for workplace abuse. Others warned. Next step, she replied. Bring in leadership mentors. Real ones. She knew Ryan wasn't the only one who needed to grow. That afternoon, she called Ryan into her office. You've taken the first step, she said. But people still don't trust you. I know, he said. They shouldn't. Not yet. Amara nodded. So, Are you doing all this for redemption or revenge? Ryan looked confused. Revenge? Yes, she said firmly. Some people say sorry to get their power back, to rise again. That's not growth. That's strategy. Ryan lowered his eyes. I don't want power anymore, he said. I just want to make things right. Amara studied him. Then I'll give you one last test. The next day, Amara invited the whole staff to a surprise event. In the meeting hall, there was a stage and projector. People whispered, wondering what was going on. Then Amara stepped forward. This company is healing, she said, but healing needs truth. So today, you'll hear one more story. Everyone turned to the side as Ryan walked onto the stage. He looked nervous but calm. I was given a chance to speak, he began. Not to explain myself, but to share what I've learned. He didn't use fancy words. He didn't hide his mistakes. He told the truth. About his pride, his fear of being replaced, his actions, his shame. He shared stories from his notebook, the voices of people he had hurt. And then he paused. Some of you may never forgive me, and that's okay. But I'll keep showing up. I'll keep listening. I'll keep learning. When he stepped down from the stage, there was no applause at first, just silence. Then, Lena stood and clapped. One by one, others joined. Not everyone. But enough. Amara watched from the side, her arms crossed, eyes full of thought. Later, Amara met Ryan in the hallway. You passed, she said simply. He looked surprised. That was the test? No, she replied. The test is every date from now on. But today, you showed your heart. She handed him a small box. Inside was a new name tag. Mentor in training. Ryan. He smiled, eyes wet. Thank you. As Ryan walked away, Amara whispered to herself, redemption, not revenge. She turned and walked back into her office. Silvertech wasn't perfect, but now it was healing. 3 months passed. The Silvertech office looked the same from the outside, but inside, everything had changed. People smiled more. Meetings were filled with ideas, not fear. Teamwork became real, not just a word on the wall. And in the center of it all stood Amara Johnson, the CEO who once walked in as an intern. She didn't wear expensive clothes or talk in big words. She listened. She taught. She led with heart. Ryan now had a new desk, not big, but bright. Next to it was a sign. Mentor in training. Always learning. He no longer told others what to do. He asked questions. He offered help. And slowly, trust returned. One morning, Lena brought him coffee. Thanks for standing by us, she said. I should have done it long ago, he replied. Then she smiled. At least you're doing it now. Amara called for a company-wide meeting again. This time, the room was filled with laughter and energy. She walked up to the front, holding a folder. I have news, she said. We're expanding. Cheers filled the room. 3 new teams, 2 new offices, and more chances to grow. She looked at the team. But before that, we need new leaders. Not just smart people, kind people, people who lift others up. Then she smiled. And some of those people are already here. She turned toward the screen. Pictures appeared. Employees who had grown, helped, and supported their teams. Lena's name was there. So was Marcus. And so was Ryan. After the meeting, Ryan walked up to Amara. You're giving me a team. She nodded. A small one. With one rule. Lead with respect. Or step aside. Ryan held the folder tightly. I won't let you down. Amara looked into his eyes. Don't prove it to me. Prove it to them. That weekend, Amara visited her old neighborhood. She stood in front of the tiny garage where Silvertech began. An old neighbor walked by. Amara, look at you now. She smiled. Still learning. The neighbor laughed. Some things never change. Amara looked at the garage door and whispered, thank you for the struggle. Because without it, she wouldn't be here. Back at the office, Amara placed a new sign on the wall near the entrance. It said, in this company, titles don't matter, character does. AJ. Everyone who entered read it. Some smiled, some thought deeply. It was a reminder of everything that happened, of how pride fell and humility rose. One afternoon, Ryan visited Amara's office with a small gift. It was a framed quote. "Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge." Amara looked at the frame and said, "You understand now." "I'm starting to," Ryan said. "Thanks to you." She placed it on her shelf. Then she said something he didn't expect. "I should thank you too." He blinked. "Me?" "Yes," she said. "Because of you, I saw the truth, and truth makes us stronger." As the sun set outside the tall office windows, Amara looked at her team from afar. They weren't perfect, but they were growing. Together, she smiled, closed her laptop, and whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning."